Yo, 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 everybody. When you're the best in the world, you walk off the court 5 or 15 minutes before the game's over. Oh, and you also, instead of preparing for the next season, you prepare to play in a movie. And then you refuse to play for your country in the Olympics. Oh, that's LeBron James. That's sorry.
Yo, it's your boy Sweet Sauce. Fuck you, LeBron James. Pussy.
This morning, I was like, I don't think we have anything to talk about. I was like, no.
Yeah, we do.
We recorded the podcast before he acted like a
before
little bitch.
Before he got worked by the fucking Suns.
Before he was like, I gotta leave early. The game is sad.
Guess what that tells you, ladies and gentlemen? Basketball is not a individual sport. Fucking whoa! Woo!
Fuck you, LeBron
His team
James.
sucks, and he's not Jesus Christ incarnate, so he can't solve a shitty team. Okay?
Okay, he's good, but
he's only so good.
He's only so good.
So,
and to me, that this invalidates their win last year, their title last year, because
he's a pussy.
He's a pussy.
Oh my God, what a bitch, dude! What a fucking
all right.
bitch.
So, for instance, I know obviously this is more of a racing podcast than anything, but whatever.
It's turning into the LeBron podcast.
In his post game,
it's like InfoWars. I just like bitching about stuff.
He's laughing and making jokes and stuff. But if you look at like MJ and I almost said LeBron, MJ and Kobe, if they lost, they were like, we got to do better. You know that we sucked. Whatever. They weren't going, I got the summer off now. What can I say? Ha. Gonna go play Looney Tunes. Ha. No, they were like, I'll be at practice tomorrow, making myself better.
I don't know if maybe his comment to the whole Looney Tunes thing was supposed to be a joke, and we're not taking it that way. But when you act the way you act, I guess I can't help but.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, LeBron's done. We'll get into racing, then we'll get into Julio. And then we're done. Because short episode, Shep bummed us again, as per usual.
No, hold on. When the fuck did you get out of work?
6:30.
Okay. That was an hour ago.
Yeah, I got out of work at 6:30.
Okay.
Which means it takes me 30 minutes to get home, 25 minutes to get home. Which means I got home at 7, so I could eat fucking dinner.
All right, well.
It's not my fault that you're too busy during the week.
Hey, I got the overnights, and I'm sleeping during the day, and I'm doing all this other fucking shit. All right, anyway, we're just wasting time. We do have to talk about the greatest show match in boxing history, too.
We will, yeah, we'll get into that. All right. Quick racing recap.
The fuck happened? I saw a bunch
Formula One was insane. Everybody wrecked, or like the
Schumacher was pissed.
The tires blew up. Schumacher was put in a pretty dangerous position because his teammate was upset about getting passed.
I saw that on my ESPN feed. Schumacher was tight.
Yeah, he should be. I mean, the guy's just come back. We got to see on the restart. We got to see the 7-time world champion, greatest of all time, send it into a corner and not make it through the corner. He just went straight instead of turning. But they claim that there was a button pressed that turns off the rear brakes, so he wasn't able to slow down enough, which that's what it looked like anyway. But for being as good as he is, he probably should have realized that. That's just my 2 cents on the matter.
Willie B fucked me.
I don't even want to talk about how getting fucked feels like in NASCAR. This is the second week in a row that I've led until the last lap. When they crossed the line in the last lap, your boy went from 1st to 6th because fuckers decided they wanted to spin out my 2 drivers. I was ahead by 30 points.
I think that was the worst performance that Willie B's put up. He got me -1 points.
Yeah, he got hit pretty hard. But because of NASCAR, I got to answer a few questions from good old Josh Mullen. And he wants to know. So throughout the race, there was an incident where Ross Chastain, I think, spun out and then passed guys off track and then came back on track. Which in every other form of racing, in even NASCAR, that's supposed to be penalized.
We've talked about that too.
Where you can't when you're off track, you can't pass.
I know we've talked about that because I've brought up the football analogy of like going out of field and then back in
Right.
field. It's a penalty.
So how did he get away with it? I honestly don't know. And even Gordon and Boyer hinted at it during the broadcast that was kind of shady. So
Who's the governing body over a race? So just a bunch of people in a booth watching it?
yeah, it's the NASCAR officials.
So is there a chance that they just didn't see it?
No, it shouldn't. When you watch a spin, you watch the spin. You don't watch the guys going by it.
True.
So I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. I'm sure someone can shed light on it. So I'm sorry I can't. I'm gonna look. I want to watch it a few more times because I only saw it during the race and I never thought to go back onto it until you said that today. So good on you, mate. I'll try to correct that. And then he also says, "Is HMS going to set an unbeatable record?" No, I don't believe so. And that's Hendrick because they went 1-2 again for the 4th time in a row. I think there's something afoot. Kluge and I have talked about this where it's a little shady that it's a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. And after last year, they were already caught cheating. So there's a percentage of a chance that they could have been cheating again. Just my thoughts.
Who is this?
No proof on the matter. Hendricks.
So who's the 1-2?
Oh, this week was Larson and Chase Elliott. The week prior was Larson and Chase Elliott.
Oh.
The week prior was Larson and I think Willie B. Or no, it was Chase and someone else. Chase and Willie B. Or Chase and Larson or something. And so on and so forth. Whatever it was.
Were they the ones that did the wind tunnel shit?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was them. So I wouldn't put it past them to be up there. So but they're only one ahead of the record right now. And Texas, that's not.
Record
that
of what?
count.
Consecutive?
No, of 1-2, or no, it's like of wins or whatever. So I guess maybe he will. For whatever reason, I was thinking about records for 1-2 finishes, which he might have both. But I think it's going to start catching up to their team here soon, and you're going to start seeing him not win as many in a row like he just did. But I guess I don't know if it's unbeatable. I don't want to say it's unbeatable because he did it. He beat the guy ahead of him, but he's still got a long time left running. So he might. It just depends on how things. I don't think it's unbeatable. Nothing's unbeatable anymore.
True.
That's my thoughts. We had a pretty crazy thunderstorm at Spa this week, and they canceled a race. It was like flooded with like 2 feet high water. It's pretty wild.
Bruh.
Yeah, wild. Can you stop breathing in the mic? Fucking. I'm all worked up right now. All right. Logan Paul floated me over.
This is the worked up podcast. I just don't understand what it's turned into, but
That's what we should talk. Let's. You know what? We're switching. We're changing everything. It's no longer the HWR podcast or HW Racing podcast.
Calling it worked
It's
up.
worked up. Worked up by HW Racing.
Yeah, I like that.
And it's just going to be our sports talk podcast.
If we're gonna pivot that, I love it.
I think it makes the most sense because we rarely talk about racing.
Yeah, but even when we do talk about racing, some stuff
It's always pissing us off.
Well, it's just the controversies in racing, so it's like that's all we talk about is controversy.
Yeah, and then we'll leave little segments for the HW Racing.
Yeah, but you gotta. It's still connected, so it's either gonna be like worked up.
All right, worked up.
Worked up, presented by.
Worked up.
Presented by.
Should it be worked up with a exclamation point or just worked up?
Exclamation point.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Presented by.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're doing a pivot. Changing the title. It's gonna be worked up, presented by HW Racing.
Hell yeah, I like it. I'm digging it.
That was so spontaneous.
All right, cool.
Anyway,
Business decisions.
So this fight, nobody likes what happened. I don't like what happened. I think Stephen A. said it best. He actually went on ESPN and said that he does not think it's good for boxing as a whole. Neither do I. Because unfortunately what it's doing is it's giving people that don't have professional or amateur experience the idea that they could step in a ring with anybody and be okay.
I I believe that there might have been a prearranged agreement between.
It reminded me a lot of a Jake Paul Ben Askren thing. I really just think that
neither of them like flopped or whatever, and Floyd had gotten hit a few times. I think 7 times he got hit.
I guess I don't know where to draw the line between did he give a shit and actually try.
I think he gave a shit, but I think when he was interviewed that first kind of,
because we know when he fights he doesn't like what are the majority of his wins? Like, how many knockouts does he have?
He doesn't have knockouts. I mean, he has knockouts, but he doesn't knock out people.
Right. So he's known for winning by decision, being elusive, being very good at connecting punches, which he did.
Look how he fought McGregor. He fought McGregor, like, the first 4 rounds of the McGregor fight was him just being defensive and, like, figuring out how to.
I mean, he's dubbed as the greatest defensive fighter. Right. So you could say that, you know, people were saying, oh, he dominated the fight. Because if you look at his percentages, like, he did.
They were better. Yeah.
They were a lot better, as they should be. But it's also like people paid because they wanted to see one of the Paul brothers get fucking worked.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if it kind of made him look like a bitch, if I'm going to be quite honest.
Made Floyd?
Yeah, because and I don't know if even in his prime, I guess maybe he could never. I mean, Paul's got 30 pounds on him. I don't know enough about boxing. I don't know if that makes that much of a difference in terms of knocking somebody out.
It gives you some power behind you.
I knew Jake Paul was never going to knock out Floyd Mayweather. That was not even
Logan, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever. They both were useless. Caught myself on that one.
Jesus Christ.
Self-censor. I get heated about this.
All right, worked up. You're worked up
because it's just it's not what I expected. Because now what you did is Logan Paul went 8 rounds and now it's like, woo!
So all right. So he went in an interview and said that he's already won before the fight because he's a YouTuber with no expectations. Like
he was able to even step in the ring with
right.
him.
No one expected him to win in a boxing match. No one expected him to be able to compete in any way. But now he gets to face arguably the greatest boxer of all time. So he's already won. He's already made his point that he can go anywhere he wants to go in his life.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously, if you won, it would be a different situation where we'd kind of be like, damn.
I don't know how to feel about this because, to be fair,
Floyd is a showman, like we've talked about. And I don't want to say he didn't care, but he didn't. He admittedly said that he could have, before the fight, he goes, I'll end it when I want to end it. And he knew, going 8 rounds.
There's this theory going out there.
For him.
So I don't know if you saw the clip of where Floyd bopped Logan. And Logan looked like he started to go down.
Oh, and
then Floyd caught him. There's this thing out there that Floyd caught him and held him up to keep it going, which is very possible.
Absolutely.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past the fact that Floyd agreed to a fight where no official winner would be announced, but knockouts were allowed. Just saying that created enough hype around it to where somebody's going to get knocked out, but then neither of them knew, he had to have known that he wasn't going to go in there and knock him out. I have the feeling that Floyd was going into that fight not wanting to knock him out.
No, right.
He wanted to go the full 8.
If he had knocked him out, we would have done this podcast and been knocked him out, awesome, woohoo, and next week we wouldn't have talked about it.
Yeah.
But next week we'll probably be like, that was still really shitty, what the fuck? But we're still talking about Floyd Mayweather, and now his name is still on our lips.
It's funny because
30 years after he started boxing.
I just don't know whether to I'm pissed at how it turned out, but I guess in terms of a business decision, it was very smart.
Oh, 100%
smart.
100% on both parts.
And I will admit that I give Logan a lot more, I think, respect than I do his brother.
Even with the Charizard card. Actually, I'd give him a lot of respect for that. That
cool. Was kind of cool. I've heard clips and videos of him and his podcast and whatever, and I'm like, he's not. After that whole debacle that he had
in the forest,
that kind of knocked him off his high horse.
Yeah,
I think he has made somewhat of a turnaround in terms of his personality. But
he grew up where Jake didn't.
He did, yeah, and Jake still acts like a child.
I don't want to say he grew up because he kind of grew up. He didn't fully grow up.
No, but I mean, he's tolerable.
Yeah.
So I guess if this was to happen to anybody, him being that person is fine. If it was his brother Jake and Jake walked away from this, I'd be pissed because I want somebody to put Jake in a hospital because he needs to be shut the fuck up.
I don't think Tyrone's the guy to do it.
Well, we've talked about that before too, though. Like I think he's just strategically picking fights for people that he knows
He can beat.
Or
And that's why
he
he
can
won't
pay out.
That's why he won't fight Dylan Dennis. That's
Yeah.
why he won't fight McGregor yet.
Yeah, he's running from
well,
Dylan Dennis.
He keeps calling him McGregor, but he knows McGregor's not going to take it because McGregor's like,
Yeah, he's
shut
get
up,
the
dude.
fuck out of here. Yeah.
Who are you? I'm Conor motherfucking McGregor.
Yeah.
I apologize to absolutely no one.
So I don't know. I feel like that fight was just kind of my biggest beef is I feel like it was kind of a joke for the sport of boxing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like, because you just put, like, yes, the best boxer in the world was just putting a show on, and he doesn't even necessarily care about, he's retired. He's not stepping back in the ring for any belts. He doesn't care. He's already got the 50-0 record. He's just making money. So whatever happens to him, his name or his legacy, he doesn't give a shit because he's already solidified himself as the man.
Well, that's also why he said no official, winner,
Right.
no judges or anything, because it won't tarnish his legacy,
Right.
in
So
any way.
whether or not he actually knocks this kid out or not no longer matters.
No.
So he's going to put on a show, but unfortunately what it does is it makes people look like, it makes him and boxers look like pussies because
They're
YouTubers
they're not beating these guys.
yeah, and YouTubers are kind of now ruling the sport of boxing, and that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah. We just need Canelo to get into the ring.
Yeah.
But
So that's kind of my whole
they
take
won't
on
take
the thing.
fights with Canelo because they know Canelo will freaking knock someone out.
But Stephen A. did bring up a good point in his ESPN rant that I saw. It's actually, in a way, a good thing because I don't know if you've heard a lot about like boxing in the past. Promoters have controlled the sport for so many years.
Yeah, that's why they don't make money off boxing.
Yeah, so the fact that these big money fights between these kids are happening, where we're just talking millions of dollars of self-promotion,
Right.
and they're not using promoters to do
They're
any of this,
literally just using
and
their
they're
Twitter
making money
and
doing
YouTubes.
it, is putting pressure on the actual boxing community and the promoters that run it, saying like, hey, boxers can go out there and make a name for themselves
Yeah.
and box and make more money without a promoter.
Right.
So now it's forcing promoters to actually do a good job and make money for people for the sport of boxing.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I agree. It's healthy for boxing. And it's drawing more people to boxing. So I don't know. There's just different takes about it.
Yeah.
I just personally am not satisfied. And I'm glad I didn't spend the $50 on pay-per-view for that.
We almost
Did you see that
like
video I sent you?
yeah. That guy was awful. That was the worst money I've ever. He
Well-
was so dull.
Okay, I sent Tom a video of his YouTube name is like Penguin something,
Yeah.
Penguin Zero something. It's Moist Critical. Everybody knows who Moist Critical is. He's on Twitch. He's a huge name, and he's known for just being that drawl, like hate everything in the world kind of person.
Everything sucks.
And he got tickets to the fight and went down to the fight, and some of the one-liners he was saying were pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, they were. They were. But the
Um,
guy was so dull.
That's his like shtick, though. But yes, I get what you mean. It takes a certain. He's just very cynical.
That $200 I spent was probably the worst thing ever, but not
Yeah.
anymore. This fight sucked. I was so ashamed to be there.
He's got a certain taste. You have to be.
Well, he ain't my taste, but he made sense. So
Yeah, but anyway, that's the fight. People are saying Logan won because he survived. People are
Which
saying
is
Floyd won
bullshit, because
because
that's not how fighting works. Fighting
No.
you don't win by surviving.
So Floyd won because he had the better performance. There was good, I think, sportsmanship at the end.
Yeah, they both gave each other credit. Like, that's what you want in a fight. You don't want to
I
be
do
like,
think.
I hate you.
I do think that
Sometimes you do.
Logan threw a little bit of shade at him for saying, because there was something that he said nodding to the fact that he survived. So I think that's a little, I was like, okay. We
He
get
let
it.
you survive. In my
Yeah,
opinion,
I
so.
do think at the end of the day,
'Cause
if
half
he
the-
actually tried to knock him out, he could knock him out.
Half the time he was fighting, Floyd was smiling. Like, when you're
Yeah.
fighting, you don't smile. So he was taking it somewhat easy, I would imagine. But I don't know. Who knows? You'll never know unless he tells you.
No, so I do think he might have taken it easy. to draw out the,
Yeah.
Because it was a good comparison was the Rocky versus Ivan Drago from the fourth movie.
Yeah.
It's a good comparison. So, I mean, again, everybody would have liked to have seen somebody get knocked out, whether it was, knocking Floyd out was not going to happen. I'm sorry.
No, but if he did,
but even then, it would still be more interesting.
Yeah. Something would have happened.
I think the undercard fights were better.
Ocho Cinco.
I saw that one. That was funny.
He took a hit, but he came out and won 3 out of the 4 rounds.
They were just slugging those two guys.
Yeah, no, like if you look at Jake Paul and Logan Paul's their fights, they were more dancing and trying to be
technical.
Yeah. These guys were just like hammer fist, hammer fist, hammer fist.
They were
anything.
So.
And he ran after getting knocked over.
Yeah.
It's not. You can tell that it's like their first fight.
Yeah. So there's that, and then we got what? The last thing we wanted to talk about?
Julio motherfucking Jones
to the Titans.
Division rival.
Not what I was expecting.
No. Also went a lot cheaper than I think most people expected.
Well, I think that was because of what happened, though. We talked about that.
No, but even then, none of us were still expecting them to give him away like that, and they gave him away.
Yeah, but I mean, it's one of those things where the dude's got enough money, I think, personally, where if he takes a hit for, a couple years, to kind of, you know what I mean? Because if he starts to stay with the Titans will pay him more. If he goes into...
Well, so he's got 1 year where he can, if he does well this year, they can try and extend him, or he can walk and go and be a free agent. He only had 1 more year.
So, I mean, after the year, if you take a small hit for a year and then what? They'll either give you more money to stay, or you can go somewhere else.
He didn't have a say in the matter. They just moved him.
No, I know, but I'm saying, in the long run, I think it would be beneficial for him to be on a different team.
100% makes sense for both parties. Both parties made out on this.
Yeah.
The Falcons lost caps, or they gained cap space by removing him, and they gained draft picks, where the Titans picked up cap space, or picked up some dead cap or whatever. But they've got one of the best.
How do you think the Titans are going to do?
Nothing's going to change for them.
I know people are saying
they still have Ryan Tannehill as a quarterback.
I don't know.
Who's okay? He's good enough. And Kluge and I talked about this. He's good enough to get the job done. Sure. However, their defense is still hot shit.
Yeah, they're just missing.
They can't stop a third down.
I want them to go. I don't like them, but they're so new to success in the last couple of years, at least doing halfway decent, that I would
fuck the Titans.
No, I worked up. No, I'm actually. I
am worked up.
I'm okay with it. I want to see them do okay, at least better. I think you're right, though. I mean, Tannehill's doing better with the Titans than he did with the Dolphins.
Yeah, because he has a team. The Dolphins didn't have a fucking team. He only had Jarvis Landry when he was on the Dolphins.
I don't think that he's what everybody's blowing him up to be.
No, he's being carried by Derrick Henry, the 7-foot-tall monster who gets handed the ball and can drive the ball down the field 10 yards.
The literal monstrosity.
Yeah. But if you look at games when they played actual talent, anybody who's in the playoffs, they went nowhere.
Yeah, I mean they're missing that.
You can read. Oh, they're going to run the ball with Henry. Yeah. They're going to run the ball. Oh, they'll do a dump pass because Tannehill can't throw for shit.
Well, it's like football 101. When you have that all-star guy, what do? You target him, right? When you play the Ravens, you stop Lamar Jackson from running around like a bumbling idiot, and then they blow.
Make them make the mistake of having to do something that they're not comfortable doing.
And they even do that with Brady. You stop Brady, you win.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just
confuse him.
Yeah. Which is, I think out of all of the players, if you're going to stop one player, he's the most difficult to stop because he is so, and even
football IQ.
Yeah, and even his biggest weakness is pressure. He gets nervous.
Well, because he can't escape it. If he was a little younger, he could have escaped it.
But they've always done a good job at giving him people to that are good at protecting him. Yeah, so even the Almighty God, Mahomes, you go at his weak points, and it just
his ankles.
crumbles.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Just any sort of pressure, he crumbles.
I like the move myself. Where would you have wanted him to go?
Obviously, I would love to have him at the Colts, but
Was that even in the conversation?
it was talked about, but I don't think a lot of this Colts fan base is very set on Paris Campbell being the. Paris Campbell missed 90% of the past 2 years, whatever, however many years he's played. He just stupid injuries, not his fault. Like it was just a freak accident.
Just happens, yeah.
But he's injury prone. So he hasn't proven anything to any of us. But these fans are so Paris Campbell's the next big guy. No, not yet. Let him prove himself, please.
Yeah.
Before you start doing this. So I think, and our GM doesn't like to give up draft picks too often, and he did with Carson already, so he doesn't want to get rid of more.
Yeah.
So I get it. And our team's already kind of good. So
Yeah, I mean, they're good. Yeah. I like the state of...
I would have loved to see him not be in the AFC South. That would have been awesome.
I like the state of what's going on, though. I mean...
Football is... NFL is drastically different than it was 2 months ago.
Yeah, and I think it's in a good spot. Even, like, years ago, like, it was the same fucking people.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing
veterans playing at Tampa Bay.
Titans aren't doing bad. Tampa Bay didn't do bad. Colts have done pretty good the last couple of years, and it's like, you know what I mean. So you're seeing different.
We change instead of Patriots.
Yeah,
trash.
Yeah, and Patriots, Green Bay, even that.
Speaking of Green Bay,
has he gone anywhere?
We have to end it now. Aaron Rodgers isn't showing up for the mandatory minicamp, and he's going to get fined $90,000. So,
but he still hasn't said where he's going.
No. Well, he can't go anywhere. He's either just not going to show up, or they'll trade him, or he'll show up. Like those are his three options. He can't just be like, "Hey, I'm going to San Fran because I want to." He doesn't have that option.
Oh, I thought they already opened trades though.
No. Well, I mean, they opened for trades. Yes. Well, no. They said they won't trade him, but people have reached out about trading, but they won't trade him. They're not going to get rid of Aaron Rodgers. Why the fuck would they then they have to play Aaron Rodgers.
So if he just doesn't show up enough, then they'll have to trade him? I mean, what the fuck?
It'll be like Le'Veon. When Le'Veon, if he doesn't show up and takes that year off, he's a free agent next year.
Would he take a year?
Yes, absolutely would.
Wow.
Absolutely would. All right. Make sure you guys, if you want tags, get them. Thank you to all our sponsors. You guys are the best.
We love you.
Thank you for listening.
Worked Up
is pretty wild, so if you like it, let us know. If not,
Squoo.
we'll kill Shep. Okay, bye.